Yeah, hello everyone. I want to thank you all for the lovely comments I received on my first video. And thank you so much for all the love and support for Tiger and his design. I really appreciated it. So let's get straight into the video. So this piece really messed me up. I'm not gonna lie to you. So initially there was an art studio I was trying to do from an artist I really love called Chen CY, which I'll link in the description. Their work is very, very much to my taste. They got beautiful bright colors, beautiful cell shading, and one piece particularly stood out to me with a character underneath a flower, and I really wanted to take inspiration from them and study the way they cell shade specifically, as I really adore their coloring style. When sketching out the drawing, I really wanted to go for something really flowy and elegant to match the current spring vibe. Although here in the UK, somehow it still feels like winter with a little dash of sun. So as you can tell, I attempted to sketch a background. It initially was going to be a little bit more of a complicated piece with a river background and frogs and maybe some dragonflies going across the screen as well. But I hated this piece so much, so I couldn't bother to add the background. So I decided to keep it simple and more into the style of Chensi, with a black square and some, oh, not a black square specifically, but with a colored square and some additions to the character, having it interact with a puddle. To make it really fun and interactive, and also having her hold a leaf umbrella as well to also match the piece I'd taken inspiration from, which was a flower instead. If I could redo the piece, though, I would definitely love to add more details, such as the frogs and more wildlife in the background. But I really enjoyed the pose as I was sketching it, and it was really, really fun to try drawing a different body type, since my drawings tend to be stuck in the same body type, which is usually like a young anime boy-esque type character. So it was really, really nice to branch out and try something new as well. But guys, let me tell you something. I really, really enjoyed doing the lineup for the first time in a long time with this piece. It was really fun to do. I really adore the way Chen CY's line art is so clean, even though I hate the time it takes to do. But this time it was quick, it was sufficient, it was like, butter, wow, just gliding through the paper. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. But when I had finished the liner, I had realized that the hair looked so dead. I really did not like how it turned out. It was complete opposite vibe of the sketch from what I was going for. I was going for a more flowy, fun kind of hairstyle, but I did not like the way the end bit laid. But I thought, like, let me try adding some color, but you'll notice throughout the speed paint that I really tried with the hair. I really, really tried. Adding the colors was really fairly simple since it was just cell shading, so I just added the base colors, and I knew that I wanted her to have a really bright colors, especially to enhance her skin tone as well. For some reason, there's been a really recurring orange in the theme of a lot of my art lately, as you can tell with Tiger and this lady as well. But I really thought that the bright colors would really bring out the vibrance of her skin tone. And it was really fun copying the shading style of Chen CY as well, since their shading tends to be quite, the shading lines are quite harsh, and I really like the way she's able to get those lines, since I typically tend to overblend a lot of my art, which can make it quite difficult to tell where the shading starts and the light tones begin. But it was really, really fun to be able to copy and learn from the way she's able to get that from. However, you may notice, you're asking me, why does the hair look so dead? Now, this is a very good question. I kept asking myself the same thing. I was like, Tiger, why? Why is the hair so dead? And now you're gonna see me attempt. It was the words of Kendrick. It was a lifelong battle with myself. It was really difficult. I spent ages and ages trying to mimic Chen CY style, but I realized that I couldn't quite get it with the hairstyle that I was doing. Even though I looked at a lot of their references, I wasn't quite sure if I didn't capture it as well as I wanted to. So what I ended up doing was giving up on the idea and freestyling it. So I kept redrawing it many, many, many times by doing line art, and then I was like, no, let me just paint it instead. Then after like many, many revamps, I was like, okay, you can't really polish a turd. Let me just paint and see how it will turn out. But luckily, the flat brush and Procreate really came in clutch. I had attempted to use one of the painterly brushes, and I got a really nice painterly texture, but the hair overall looked quite messy. So I went over it with a flat brush as well, and then I kind of got the energy that I was looking for in the sketch. But it was a really big struggle, and I'm not gonna lie, I gave up on it many a time. But I think overall, like, I somewhat like how it turned out, but the whole thing with this is just struggle and hope to God that something will happen. But I hope it did. The final result, I don't completely hate it. But once I was done with Procreate, I had moved the image into Clip Studio, which is tends to be my usual process, and I did all my finishing touches in there, where I added the water, I added more detail in her dress, and then after I got some more feedback from my friend as well, as I had only drawn the water at the front first, but my friend was like, draw it in perspective. Obviously, unfortunately, you won't be able to see in the speed paint since I forgot to record it. But I had basically, I drew it fully circling the character so it was clear that she was interacting with it. And then once that was done, I added a filter from by the courtesy of Oyen Orca, and that was basically the final touch I had added to the painting. And I think that really made me start to actually not hate the piece anymore, because the noise and adding all those filters and then adding the water as well. And oh, I also did the leaf in Clip Studio as well, but obviously that was lost because I forgot to record as well. But overall, like, it was a learning curve. It was a huge learning curve with this piece, and I really wanted to give it up, but I was like, no, let me stick through it. So hopefully you enjoyed this video of struggling with me. And I just want to thank everyone so much for the lovely comments, and thank you so much for watching. I didn't really expect my first video to do decently. I was expecting 2 views, so I really appreciate that, and I really hope you like the final outcome, even though it took me so long to like it too. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.